As people get back to work, they're surprised at how expensive it can be to get around. Prices for rideshares are spiking, and that's driving people back to a more traditional form of transportation. We're talking about taxis. Cabbies say business is making a slow comeback. Here's CBS 2's Marissa Parra.
As the city returns to normal, some Chicagoans are finding that getting around looks different than it did before.
How many times have you taken a taxi before?
This is my first time since I was a kid.
Brian Jones is one of at least a dozen who told me before hopping into their cabs, this is their first time in years.
I'm actually busier than I've ever been. Ever in 8 years.
Chicago taxi driver William Ainsworth says waiting in the taxi line at O'Hare is quicker than ever.
We would wait 4 hours for a train.
How long do you wait now?
About a half hour.
DePaul's transportation expert Joe Schwederman says
we're seeing real opportunities for profits by taxi cab drivers who haven't seen in a while.
He cites rideshare surge pricing and competitors like Curb, an app that lets you order taxis right from your phone. Take a look at analysis published by New York-based data scientist Todd Schneider. The black line represents rideshares, the yellow means taxis. You can see they both fell dramatically during the pandemic and picked back up when the city reopened. But while ridership grew across the board starting in March of 2021, the rate of that growth for taxis outpaced rideshares.
Taxi cabs are positioned to sort of elbow their way back into a market.
Schwederman says this doesn't mean rideshare won't stay on top, but it does bode well for the cab industry.
The gap is narrowed, and I think that Uber and Lyft's some much needed competition. Now they have a feisty competitor in the taxi cab industry to worry about, and that's good news for everybody.
Neither industry is immune from the driver shortages and the subsequent wait time. Yellow Cab in Chicago tells me that as of mid-June, they were operating with only 15% of the drivers they had before. Reporting in West Loop, Marissa Parra, CBS 2 News.